Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey everyone, happy Wednesday to all of you. Welcome to AfterBuzz TV. This is the Red Band Society After Show, Episode 2, Soul Society. I'm Heather Joy Smith, and with me tonight is...
Hey guys, I'm Michelle Fee.
Hello there, I'm Heather Cruz. Let's not try to make this confusing.
I know, we got two Heathers tonight. And Heather wasn't with us last week, so welcome.
Thank you. I'll be here the rest of the season, and I'm super excited.
Awesome.
Yes.
We're so excited.
And Francisco will be here next week. He wasn't able to make it this week, but next week he will be back. So, Episode 2, you guys. I'm really enjoying this show so far. I don't know about you guys, but... it's really good.
It's so different than anything else on television.
Yes.
It's right now.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, I love it. I'm loving it.
Yeah. So tonight's episode, we come back from where we left off last week with Jordy kind of going into the surgery and preparing mentally, physically, everything for his leg being amputated, which I don't know about you guys, but like when that scene came on, I literally was like sick to my stomach. Like, I just can't even fathom that even happening, like how I would be feeling. And Dr. McAndrews was just like, think happy thoughts. No, like I would be freaking out.
Right.
Like, no.
I mean, I think he kind of went into it like with a good feeling because in the last episode they did have their little powwow on the roof, so maybe that calmed him down a little bit. But no, I totally agree. Like same with me. If I was laying in the exact spot, I'd be like, oh my god, my leg is gonna get.
Luckily, that's never happened to any of us.
Yes.
But it's a real situation.
It is. It's very real
for a lot of kids out there who have to go through this. So I'm really glad that this show is kind of tackling this kind of hard topic to talk about. Right. So, but yeah. It's tough.
It's tough.
Really
and
tough.
So, you know, we see the surgery kind of going through, and we're not quite sure. Dr. McAndrews, like, gets in there, and it was a little gory. Michelle had to look away. She's like, oh, my God, I can't do this.
I just have issues.
Yeah.
It was like a split second. It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad.
I'm just very dramatic.
Enough to turn her stomach. But we saw him kind of like struggling there for a moment, like, oh my goodness, this is a lot worse than I originally thought. And to me at first I kind of was thinking, well, are they gonna have to take the whole leg off? Because the reason why Jordy came to Dr. McAndrews is because he knew kind of where to cut the leg off and you know where to make it right. And I just was thinking, oh my goodness, this is gonna be a lot worse than Jordy had anticipated.
Yeah, and the scene where he was in, I guess, the in-between with Charlie, and then he kind of passed out, I thought something bad had happened in the surgery, too. Like, he was going to die.
Yeah, they definitely foreshadowed it pretty much throughout the entire episode, but we didn't really understand until the last few minutes what really had happened. They stretched it out for a bit.
They really did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's not good for Jordy. Not at all.
Not at all. And that was, like you mentioned, Charlie came back. It's interesting how Charlie comes in to play when they're all under anesthesia or whatever. And then he's kind of there to be like, oh, I'm your buddy. Like, let me
he's
help
there
you.
to give them happy thoughts.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great like way to keep him in the show because he doesn't have any lines when he's in his coma.
He's narrating.
He's a narrator.
Yeah, that's
He's kind of sees the inside of what these kids are trying really hard to keep on the inside, but he can see straight through it. So he's like the little narrator of the show, and I love his character.
It.
Yes,
so cute,
so adorable.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Jordy and Leo relationship for a quick minute here. Leo was supposed to be the one that was going to be there for Jordy when he got out of his surgery and, you know, just kind of be that support system for him. And it didn't quite end up that way. You know, Dr. McAndrews comes out and tells Leo, you know, unfortunately, well, fortunately, I should say, fortunately, he got to keep his leg, but
there are other issues.
You know, in Leo's mind, that was like, he was supposed to be like me, and now he's not. And that was kind of tough to see.
Yeah, it was. It was kind of like a reverse situation because we had thought that Leo was going to be there for Jordy, but in actuality, Leo was depending on Jordy to be there for him. So I think him finding out that he got to keep the leg was really like a deal breaker for him because he's like, now I don't have anyone to necessarily like lean against. So it was kind of difficult for him, and I totally get that. But at the same time, like, should have been happy for him.
Well, it takes him the whole episode to kind of just deal with the fact that his friend is not exactly like him. But honestly, like, Jordy's about to go through something entirely worse than what Leo's going through. And I think it clicked for Leo at the end that I really need to be there for my friend in a different way that I thought I was going to be there. So it'll be interesting to see their relationship because we only saw them together for like the last 2 minutes.
Yeah,
so as we go forward, it's going to be interesting to see how they lean on each other.
Yeah. And this is the first time I felt like Leo really needed a support system in this episode. I mean, he got this new leg, was supposed to be practicing on it, trying it out. He wasn't really feeling it at first.
I mean, he's been the leader. I mean, pretty much through the whole thing. He's the oldest. He's kind of guiding all of the other patients. But, you know, he's still a kid himself. And I think we got to see that vulnerability in him this week.
We do forget that he is a kid still. I mean, he's a teenager. And you know, in his mind, I think he thinks he's a lot older, too. I mean, going to the little frat party.
Yep.
I mean, he must have a little fun, too.
That was a funny scene.
That was funny. I mean, I don't even know what to say about that scene, but good for him, though, to call her out.
Oh, well, I don't know. I think he went a little too far.
Yeah. I think so.
Well, I mean, he was kind of also asking for
it.
Exactly.
You're right.
Exactly. It was like pot calling the kettle black situation.
Yeah, and he just didn't know what he was getting into.
Oh, but he's so young, too.
Yeah.
He is.
So.
Do we know how old he is?
I think he's probably like 16-ish.
He looks around that age.
Yeah. And then you got this 22-year-old girl.
This college girl.
Has no clue.
I know. 17 or 16.
Oh, yeah. But again, we get to see the vulnerability because he would have gone through with it had he not been so self-conscious about his leg being gone.
True.
So again, we get to see his breaking point a little bit this episode.
And this actually kind of transitioned. We got to see a lot more of Nurse Brittany this episode. And
Love
she's
her.
just so funny. Like,
so ditzy.
She's so ditzy. And this episode, we got to see her actually, like, kind of being a little more intellectual, I could say. You know, when she's talking outside with Dr. I was going to say
McDreamy.
McAndrews, excuse me. Where she's like, you know, am I supposed to be in this occupation? Like, I don't know, you know, kind of like going back and forth with that. And this was a good moment, is her coming to his rescue. You know, she can get on Nurse Jackson's good side for this, even though the truth was stripped quite thinly there.
Oh, yeah, a coffee shop.
Yeah. But then at the end, he was like, is it just me being drunk, or does that sound weird? I'm like, did you really just say that? Because now you're going to get yourself in trouble.
Well, I mean, the truth will eventually come out.
I mean, obviously,
I feel like they let these kids get away with a lot. I mean, the first episode, the opening scene, they're puffing a little Mary Jane in the room, and it's just like, go back to your room.
Yeah.
Like, it is California, but come on.
Yeah, they get away with so much.
They get away with a lot.
Yeah.
But at the same time, these kids have had to deal with a lot, so I think the nurses and the doctors kind of let it slide. Let them be kids.
Like a little bit,
Their life is totally different than what you and I had growing up. I mean, let them slide a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. But, so, Nurse Brittany.
Yes.
Now, do we think that maybe she'll have kind of like a love interest come into play to kind of maybe...
Well, she has the boyfriend, but I
that's
somehow
right.
think that the boyfriend
just
is
don't-
gonna,
yeah.
it's not gonna work
See,
out.
I forgot about him already, and I'm thinking about somebody else. Moving on.
No, I think it's definitely gonna have to, someone's gonna come in there, because she's so cute.
She's so
She's
cute.
so naive. My favorite line, this is like, oh, I hate this crap. Oh, sorry, I cursed. Like,
Yeah, oh, that was so
my favorite.
cute.
Yeah, she's
very
just so
cute.
cute. Such a good dynamic between her and, of course, Nurse Jackie.
Yeah, Jackson.
Thank
Yes.
you, Jackson.
They're so funny. I mean, Nurse Jackson's like, oh gosh. I wonder if that, like, Nurse Jackson kind of sees a little of her maybe back in the day, and that's kind of why she doesn't, like, full on, like, dismiss her, because maybe
At one point in time,
at what,
she was like
15
that.
years ago, she was like
Maybe
that.
we'll get a flashback.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get to
Maybe.
see her.
Who knows? Okay, so also this episode, we kind of talked about this last week, where Emma and Ciara were probably not going to get along.
Yeah.
We said this was coming, and it sure came tonight.
It definitely did.
I wrote down, Emma tells Ciara that she doesn't like her. I mean, flat out.
Pretty much, I hate you.
I don't like you. And I think it was so funny and kind of odd that she let her sit in her room for 20 minutes. That's it.
Yeah.
20 minutes. Do you think that maybe she was kind of testing her out for that 20 minutes to kind of see, like, we'll see how this goes?
Well, they're the only two girls, so I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like maybe they're gonna try to make it work, because it's them and the guys at this point.
True.
So
True.
girls got to band together. I mean,
I know.
Yeah. So
I think they're going to have a love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, I think for that split second, like, she did say later on in the episode that she felt a little bad for her, because Ciara did open up to her and was like, oh, my mom's, like, they don't really necessarily care about me. So I think that they are going to bond on, like, a more deeper level.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I agree. And I thought that was really nice of Emma to go and talk to her moms and be like, why are you not getting this?
And
Like,
she wasn't catty about it either.
no, she wasn't. I mean,
Yeah.
that was like a good friend move almost, you know? Like, going there saying, you need to talk to your daughter. Like, she needs you right now. And not in the hashtag Twitter,
Yeah, like
Vine
social
way.
media.
No,
way.
like, what are you doing? No, she needs you to, like, go and talk to her right now. Like, emotional. Like,
Yeah, that kind of almost made me cry.
yeah. I mean, these moms are just like, doesn't
Yeah.
even.
this was a really good eye-opening episode for Ciara. We got to see
Yeah.
a lot of her backstory, the stuff that she's dealing with, maybe why she's so outwardly awful to people, because she has this kind of tricky home life situation
Yeah.
going on. So we really got to look into her background this episode.
It was interesting because while we were watching the show, we were talking about, well, last week, wasn't that her mom and her
Yeah.
dad there? And it kind of threw us off for a minute.
we weren't quite
we're like,
sure.
we're like, wait a minute, what just happened? Her mom and dad are separated. Mom left the dad for the nanny.
Well, alrighty then.
Yeah.
Yeah, go, whatever, okay.
It works, I guess.
I guess, I mean, we hear, like they said in the show, we hear about dads leaving the wife for the nanny all the time. Moms never leave for the
It's a
nanny.
strange plot twist.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, talk about I'm assuming she's 15, 16-year-old girl
Yeah.
who's having
Yeah.
to deal with this and probably her personal life at school. So maybe that's why she likes to put that front up.
That's true.
That'd be an interesting thing, going from your nanny to your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
It is, but then again, it isn't, because her, like, we saw her mom, she was like this sort of power businesswoman, and then she has this nanny who really cares for her. So it's like her second mom. So I feel like it shouldn't have been that big of a transition, because that's who she's known her whole life.
Well,
That's
then,
true.
and Emma brought that up too. She thought,
Yeah.
she thought that the nanny was actually her mom.
Yeah.
And she kept saying, never mind, not wanting to,
Yeah.
talk to Ciara
Yeah.
about that. But that must be difficult for Ciara to say, my nanny is acting more like a mom than my mom.
Yeah. And it kind of made sense, too, with that Pooh Bear comment, you
Yep.
know?
Yeah.
Obviously, the nanny was the one reading her these stories when she's, 5 years old or whatever. So it makes sense. It sounds more like the nanny raised her than her actual mom, because her
Yeah.
mom can't get the phone off of her ear.
Right.
Right. That's usually how it is.
So these kids aren't dealing just with,
Their
cancer, their issues.
Yeah.
They're dealing with all of their life issues as well.
Yeah.
Adolescence is hard enough.
Yeah.
Throw a
It is.
disease in there, my goodness.
Exactly.
Seriously.
Now, I kind of hope going forward we get a little bit more of Dash. I like Dash. He's fun, but I'd like to see more of him.
He's like the comedic relief.
He is. He really is.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that I feel like we're gonna get backstories of pretty much every character. This week, I felt like it was Ciara. We got a tiny little bit of Emma. She was talking about her dad, the mini-me situation, and we got to see how really sick she is.
Yeah.
You know, she can't gain any weight. She's not eating at all. So she really is sick. So we got a tiny taste of her backstory. Jordy's backstory is coming into play. We saw the previews. So I think each week we're going to learn a little bit more about these characters, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, you're right. I think, this week we got a lot of Ciara.
Yeah.
So next week I kind of hope we do see a little bit more of Emma because this was interesting seeing her weighing in and putting the coins or whatever in her bra, drinking water.
It's really sad.
For 1 pound. Yeah. I mean, she obviously probably lost more than a pound that week.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's really, really sad because the other kids are dealing with cancer that, that was no choice of theirs. But Emma has some sort of choice in this matter. That she's trying really hard to gain 10 pounds because she gets to go to the college she wants to. She's a really studious student. So she really wants she has goals for her life, but she can't get past this eating situation.
Yeah. Do you guys think maybe that will come into play with, like, the other kids? Like, you can control why you're here, and we can't.
I mean, she kept calling it a disease, and sure, I mean, eating disorder is a disease, but on some level, like, you can choose to eat, you know, and she has to decide that. It's more of a mental game for her than the other kids. They have no choice.
They have no choice. And I think Ciara is kind of like fueling her disease in a way.
Yeah, she is.
I mean, she's telling her that she'll eat her food, how to weigh down her dresses, she'll sew it, the ice and salt. I just kind of feel like that might be a little toxic.
It's a toxic relationship.
Yeah, it's a very toxic relationship between the two of them. And not to mention, we forgot to say this, the whole reason why Ciara's moms are now into play and doing this whole social media craze is because they think that they are more superior than everybody else and can just get her a heart and move her up the list.
Well, obviously, Ciara is a privileged child.
Obviously.
So when her moms came in, it really just, like, we now understand kind of why Ciara is this way, because her moms just come in and are like, we are the elite of the elite lesbian couple in Southern California.
In the top 7.
That's right.
Yes, the top 7.
I wrote that down. I was like, they are a power couple.
I mean, and they can obviously call Ellen on the whim. I mean, I got Ellen's phone number in my phone too,
I wish
guys.
I had that
right. Fabulous, by the way.
I mean, come on. So, yeah, that obviously speaks volumes about why Ciara is the way that she is. And I don't know, did they even realize that she's, like, bottom of the list because of things she did to herself?
Again, another choice that she made.
Choices she made. Yep. I don't know.
Well, it just goes to show you, too, it's like there really is no special treatment when it comes to medical care.
No.
You know, especially in this situation. So... Getting a heart, it's not like you can have a willing donor. It's it's a hard topic.
It's a heart.
Yeah.
Like,
everyone needs that to live.
Yeah.
And you only have one.
You can't just give mine to you. I mean, it's not going to happen.
No.
I mean, I love you.
I love you, Michelle.
I love you guys.
But I'm not going to willingly right now give my heart to you.
Well, luckily she doesn't need it. So.
Thankfully.
No, but I mean, it did come in this whole status thing. I feel like they were kind of just knocked down a peg, which is probably good for them. Ciara definitely towards the end broke down, was honest with her two moms. We're breaking through the walls here a little bit. So yeah, hopefully they'll get through it. And hopefully she gets a heart. That would be the happy ending to the story.
That would be, yes.
Yeah, it would, yes.
That'd be nice. Now, before we forget, make sure that you guys go onto iTunes and give us 5 stars. We forgot to tell you guys last week. And since it's our first 2 weeks, please go and give us 5 stars. Comment. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to comment too below, and we will respond to your questions and everything. So yeah, please go and rate us 5 stars.
Do it.
Please. Now, okay. At the end of the episode, we saw kind of a heart-to-heart moment between Nurse Jackson and Leo. And I think this whole, like, monkey love thing has come throughout the episode. And I thought it was really kind of cute and funny. And monkey love basically is, you know, do you want the mother monkey who cuddles you or the mother monkey who feeds you? Like,
which do you need more?
Which do you need more? And Nurse Jackson is the monkey who feeds you. She's not going to cuddle you.
Nope.
Not at all. And then there's, did anyone write
Kenji.
Kenji.
And
the new character.
The new character.
New character.
Love him, by the way.
He is
so funny.
fabulous.
I would just say he is fabulous, guys. He is Monkey Love because he's all about the love. And I thought this whole like theme of the monkey love throughout the episode was really fun and cute. And I felt like this conversation between Nurse Jackson and Leo, Nurse Jackson was the monkey love.
Yeah.
She was.
So everybody broke through their walls.
They did.
This episode.
We got to see a lot from all of the characters. And you know what's crazy about whoever is writing this is doing a phenomenal job because there's so many characters in this show and they do such a good job of, you know, kind of creating who they are and a storyline behind them and just, I mean, in an hour. That's amazing that it all flows so well.
I think it's great. I mean, when I watch like Valentine's Day or like New Year's Eve, there's so many characters in there, right?
You can't feel attached to
No.
them.
Yeah, but
exactly.
this one, it's like you have an hour every week, and they just kind of give you pieces by pieces, and it's like I really like that.
I agree.
I think we have to also mention these are kid actors,
Yes.
and they are tackling these hard subjects.
Yes.
So much emotion going on in these episodes, and they're doing an outstanding job.
Yes.
So-
And don't worry, guys. We will work on getting some of them in studio for interviews this season. So hopefully,
Fingers crossed.
fingers crossed, we will get them in here. We'll work on it. Now, okay. I know last week we kind of did the who was your favorite character. So this episode, who did you just love the most?
I would say Emma.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked her this episode. I liked her caring side, and she like was able to put aside her hatred for Ciara and like help her out. And I really like that. It was really selfless of her.
I really like Ciara. I mean, I know she's mean. I know she's mean, but we got to see a different little side of her this time. But also, I mean, she's really funny. I mean, her insults.
That's true.
They're funny, and it's kind. I mean, it's mean. It is, but they're funny. So.
Yeah.
But again, like we get to see the good side of her. She's coming out of her shell a little bit, so she's my favorite this week.
Yeah. My favorite this week has to be Brittany, and then oh gosh, I forgot his name already.
Kenji.
Kenji. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to write that down. Kenji. I have two ties. Okay, so I love them both this week just because they were just so funny and just like, I don't know, loving this week. And I really liked that Brittany went back to the frat house and got him, helped him back. I like that.
And that I mean,
he needed it.
She's such a goody two shoes nurse,
Yeah.
but then she goes in there and she lies.
Yeah.
To Nurse Jackson. I mean, like I didn't
was
see
like,
that one
duh.
coming. I know. So, like I said, everybody's just breaking through.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's get into a little bit of news and gossip real quick.
Well, I think we have to mention first the end of the previews for next week's episode. Dr. McAndrews, whatever you want to call him, is getting hot and heavy.
Yes.
But according to some sources, The Hollywood Reporter, Mandy Moore is supposedly going to play his wife. Interesting. She's definitely signed on as a recurring guest role, which will be really fun. I love Mandy Moore. Walk to Remember Always.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my god, I love that show.
No, but she's going to be a really interesting character, but I'm pretty sure she's supposed to play his wife.
And from the looks of things at the bar.
Yeah. And in the preview.
And in the preview.
Dr. McDreamy, Steamy.
Dr. McPlaya.
Right? Seriously.
Dang.
Right?
We'll just have to see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
This is going to be an interesting episode 3.
Not to mention, it was also revealed that the person that he was getting hot and heavy with happens to be related to Jordy.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's really getting interesting.
Oh my god. It's going to like tangle in together.
So much drama.
So much
perfect.
drama.
I love it.
Oh, this is going to be great.
We have to break up the drama with some actual like drama.
Fun drama.
Yeah, fun drama.
Yeah,
Love triangles.
We can't cry every week, you guys. We have to like bring in some fun drama to the show, and it looks like Dr. McPlayer will.
Ooh,
I love that.
I can't wait.
Okay, so on that note, let's get into some predictions.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV
So scary.
Okay, Michelle, we're gonna start with you.
Okay. Well, before we saw the preview and like, you know, where Jordy has someone who's supposedly related to him,
Don't know who
I
yet.
had actually thought that Dr. McAndrew was going to either be his guardian, like a legal guardian to sign off on him, or find someone who's willing to step in. So I predicted that before I saw.
Okay.
But
Well, it could
that's
still
my prediction.
happen.
I mean,
It
that's
still could happen.
for sure.
It could
Yeah.
still happen. That's
sure.
true.
Well, I mean, a lot's going on with Jordy right now. His predicament is unknown. It's a lot worse than they thought. So I predict that he, throughout the season, is going to be like really the most sick out of everybody. He's going to need the most support. And this is a drama. This is like a real life situation. So death could possibly come to the hospital. I know, I don't want to say it, but it's true. It could.
It could.
So we'll have to see. Hopefully not, but I'm predicting he's definitely going to be in near-death situation.
Yeah. I think Kara's situation is going to kind of, like her health situation is going to kind of deteriorate in the next few episodes. And I think that will probably be the turning point where her mom's dad, parents, whatever, are actually going to be like, oh my goodness, like we need to be there for her. At least that's what I'm hoping will happen. You never know with those two.
This is such a hard show to predict because it is life and death
It is.
situations
And
here,
anything can happen.
Anything.
Right.
Yeah. So everybody out there, make sure you guys tweet us your predictions because we want to hear them. So you can find Michelle on.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at _MichelleFee.
And you can find me on Twitter at Heather_Cruz.
And you can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at Heather Joyce Smith. And we will see you guys all here next week. Same time, same place. See you then.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.